Hello, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name's Melina, and today we're going to be doing something a little different. I have had my YouTube channel for many years, but I have been very inconsistent. I'll post for like a month or two and then stop, then post for a month or two, then stop, then skip 2 years and do the same thing over and over again. Over the last year, I have actually posted to YouTube pretty consistently, I think, with the exception of like a video or two, especially in the beginning, but I really found my groove. Since then, I've posted probably about 60 videos consistently, and I feel like I've learned a lot in the last year. So I just want to chat and give some tips that just reflect on the past year of posting and about my experience in general. I have some notes and some thoughts on YouTube and getting started on YouTube and just trying to figure out how to find your groove. So if you're interested in that, you're here, come stick around. So when starting YouTube, I think the number one thing that I have learned and realized is that the best time to start is immediately. There is no way to get it perfect. I think the moment you have an idea or an interest in wanting to post, I think you gotta just start. You're never gonna make that video that's gonna be perfect on its first try. And you're never going to just get better without creating that first video in the first place. I think a lot of YouTube is built down to a few things: luck, experience, and time. And you can't get time or experience without starting. I mean, the luck is luck, and sometimes your videos take off, sometimes they don't, sometimes they do better than you expected, sometimes they do terribly, and it just happens, a lot of it, you know? It's really hard to understand the algorithm. And while there are a few things that really help you get further along in your YouTube experience, at least I'll explain. Right now I have about 1.26 thousand subscribers, so I have like 1,200 subscribers. I've still learned a lot, and I feel like it's been really fun along the way. I think one thing I do want to mention is the fact that your first few videos will not be great. They will be videos that you look back on and they make you cringe so hard for whatever reason. It could be the editing you did, it could be how nervous you were when you first recorded, it could have been video quality, it could have been sound effects you added, it could have been intros or outros. There's so many things that you could grow as a creator, so your first video will never be like a true representation of who or what kind of creator you're going to be in the future. So it's okay to not be great, and it's okay to not be perfect. You will never be perfect on your first try, and maybe not on your second or third try either. I still feel like it took me about, I started consistently posting at the end of August or the very beginning of September in 2024, and I don't think I found my groove in terms of like the thumbnail style that I liked, the editing style I kind of liked, and everything until probably the beginning of 2025. Maybe, I think I was probably like in the spring. So it took me about 9 months or 8 or 9 months to kind of figure out, okay, this is what's working for me. And of course, I am probably going to evolve and change with time anyways, but I feel like I'm closer to finding out what kind of style and what kind of content creator I am compared to what I was a year and some months ago. I think one thing you have to go and think about before even coming onto YouTube is figuring out what kind of content you want to post and kind of come up with like 2 or 3 categories of things you want to post. So for me, I typically like to do book style content. I like to do a little bit of lifestyle sprinkled in because I have vlogs, but I'll insert some personal like anecdotes or whatever. And then I also like to do what I consider my recap videos, which I guess they still fall into the lifestyle category. The third category that I like to do, I would consider them to be like fusion style. So it's a mix of like travel and reading, or lifestyle and personal, and it kind of just all meshes together because I feel like at the end of the day I am posting my life and my thoughts and my opinions, but usually it pertains to like reading and books, mainly because that's what I'm passionate and interested about, and I know that I won't get tired of it. There's always a new book that I'm interested in, or a new book that I want to hype up, or a new book that I hate, and there's so many opinions that I have and I could have on this category or this genre of videos, and I think it's really important to not necessarily niche down so heavily, but definitely kind of have an idea going into it what you want to post about, because I think initially when you're starting to create an audience of some sort, I think it's really important to kind of give them an idea of what to expect from you. And if you're all over the place, I just think it's so much harder to get someone to stick around if one week you're talking about tech, and then one week you're talking about how-tos, and then one week you're talking about books, and then another week maybe you're doing a music video review. It just won't work. I mean, maybe you'll find people who will follow you, but it just would take so much longer to create that community aspect, at least That's what I find super valuable. I think it's super fun to find like-minded people, and especially when they don't really know who you are, it's gonna be really hard to nail down that community aspect. I think something that has really helped me throughout this year is scheduling and also kind of planning out my months. So I have a bullet journal. I recently have switched to like this traveler's notebook style, but I do have a notebook in here that has my YouTube information. And what I do at the beginning of every month or at the end of the month prior is I kind of write down what kind of ideas of videos that I want to post throughout the month, and it kind of helps me settle myself, figure out what I want to post, and it also helps me create maybe not a script because I don't really do a heavy script, but it helps me write down my ideas right before sitting down and coming up with a video, because if I do a reading wrap up, I need to know what the name of the author is, maybe my rating, the names of the main characters, if I had any random thoughts while reading, I put it all in the notebook. And I think this could be done with almost any genre or category of video that you want to do. I think it's really important to at least come up with a few ideas before you want to post, especially for the consistency aspect. YouTube really promotes and definitely gives you a boost every time you are consistent with your schedule. I think every time I miss a video for whatever reason that happens in my personal life, because again, I do this for fun, I notice that my next video doesn't do as well because I kind of broke from my normal like posting schedule, and it does make a difference. So I do think that coming up with a few ideas, it doesn't have to be so many. And you also have to think about what is a realistic scheduling goal for yourself. So I like to post once a week, and occasionally I'll put some like shorts from my main reading vlogs and I'll put them up there, but those are more random. When it comes to my long form content, I try to post every Sunday at the same time. So I'll edit it maybe Friday or Saturday, and I will schedule it same time on Sunday every week. And I think, again, it helps. But some people can't post once a week. Maybe you could post once every 2 weeks. Maybe you could post once a month. And just the importance of trying to schedule consistently regardless of what the amount like however many videos you could post in a certain period of time. You have to think what's going to be best for you and your lifestyle and just what's going on in your life. I also want to talk a little bit about software and like regular equipment, because I feel like people think that there's such a large barrier to entry right now, and in reality, I think now is the easiest time to get started on YouTube for free. You're probably watching this on your phone or a computer, or you own a phone. And a phone camera now and a phone microphone, they're just so good nowadays that you don't really need a heavy duty camera to start off if you don't want to. I mean, I personally was using a Canon M50, and recently I've switched to a Canon EOS, I think it's the R70, I don't remember. And I'm using a corded Rode mic, the wired ones. I don't like the wireless because I tend to find that I have issues unless I'm using a vlog, and I do have like wireless little baby mics that I do when I'm out and about. But you don't need that. You can start with your phone. All phones have great camera, video, and mics. I think the lighting is super important, so try to film in natural light when you can, which is free, or make sure that you have your videos just bright enough. I think that's one of the worst things when you are starting a YouTube channel. It really turns people away if you don't have like a crisp, it doesn't have to be 4K, but like nice lighting really helps fix like that noise. That's like when you see like the little particles, or like the footage doesn't seem like crisp. And I was having issues with my M50, which is why I switched to this new camera. When you don't have the right lighting, it creates like this fuzz in your videos and it just feels unappealing. So just film in natural light, or get a lamp or something and shine it right at you, because you just need the brightness. And then when it comes to editing, it's so easy. If you want to go on the free, you could do iMovie, which is free for Apple products. And if you don't have Apple, I really enjoyed and was personally using DaVinci Resolve. It is free. It is comparable to like an Adobe Premiere, but it's free, and it works really well. It can go on MacBooks, it can work on PCs. I am currently using Final Cut Pro, but you don't have to use Final Cut Pro. I liked it because it was a one-time payment and it was something that I could just use on my laptop. I have a Mac laptop. The DaVinci, I preferred it on my dual screen PC that I have, and again, it was free, it was working perfectly, and it has so many customization options. You could really grow and learn a lot without it costing you a cent. I have to mention this. I know everyone mentions this. I am not a YouTube guru, but thumbnails really matter. You have to create a style that people are going to look at and be interested in reading or watching or whatever. It is so important to have a really nice, aesthetically pleasing thumbnail, mainly because you are competing with everyone, and at the end of the day, YouTube is a visual platform. It is based on the visuals, and when they first see your video, when they're swiping through, the first impression is that thumbnail. So you want to make sure that your thumbnail is clear, it is aesthetically pleasing, it catches people's eye. You don't have to do the same style everyone else does. You can go through so many different like YouTube categories and see that people do things uniquely and still get a lot of views, but you can't just, it just has to make sense. It has to be aesthetically pleasing. And there's like Reddit forums for this. There is people online you could ask opinions on if you don't really know. Canva has so many really nice, aesthetically pleasing, pre-formatted YouTube thumbnail styles. So Canva, which is a free service as well. I mean, they have some things that are like premium, like designs, but the free designs are also really great to start off. I think my initial designs were free Canva design templates. One thing I think is really important is being genuine. I think people could tell on a screen whether you are being your true self or not your true self. And if you don't show any personality, I don't know, baby. If you're not showing your true personality, then people could feel it. Like, you might not feel comfortable in front of a camera, and that's one thing, but if you're not showing any of your personality, people notice that. People notice if you're either not trying to be yourself, or if you if you're not being yourself, or if you're just not feeling authentic. It comes across on the screen. And so I think it's really important to make it a point to just be yourself and try to show as much of yourself on a screen without, I mean, I'm not saying make a caricature of yourself, like you don't need to go overboard, but if your true self is a certain way, just do it. People are going to embrace that, or the right people will embrace that. I think that's really important. Now, my final few things that I do want to say before getting off of this, I do want to say I do not recommend people go on YouTube specifically for the purpose of potentially being successful, mainly because it takes so much time, so much effort to actually get paid to do YouTube, and even then, you have to, like, you know, it just takes a long time. I've been doing this for over a year, and I'm maybe about halfway to getting a penny, and that's fine. I actually love editing. I really like chatting. I love all the people that I've met on here online. I just feel like I've met really cool people, and it's like a community that I'm forming, and I'm forming with other people because I found other creators that I also enjoy to read and watch and talk with. But if you're not in YouTube because you have something creative you want to do, an outlet you want to say, or you just want to share something with the world, even if it's just your day-to-day life, and just show your personality and chat with people, again, find like-minded people, you won't get far. I promise you, YouTube is, like I said, a lot of work. I do this on next to my 9-to-5 job, so I do my 9-to-5 every day. I find the time to record this, and then I edit it for a couple of hours, and I post it, and sometimes with very few views. You know, you have to do it because you want to have an outlet. Being passionate about this, or doing it because you just genuinely enjoy it, is, I think, the most important thing when it comes to YouTube. I just feel like YouTube is such a huge platform. There's so many different creators, and I think it's easy to see online when you're watching a video whether someone enjoys to create content or not. And I think especially when you're starting out, it's super important to actually just genuinely enjoy what you're putting out. Again, it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of patience. There is a huge learning curve to doing YouTube. I mean, there's nothing like this. I'm talking in front of a camera to nobody, and I just want to share what I have to say. And, you know, sometimes it's received well, sometimes there is no one on the other side watching this. Like I said, it takes time. It takes time to find your groove. It takes time to find your community. And I mean, I haven't built a huge community, but I really love the people who come and chat with me, and people that I've met also throughout this community that I also enjoy chatting with on their videos, and it's just fun. I think the community aspect is a huge one for me, and I hope that this has been helpful for you. This is just what I've learned over the past year doing this consistently. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or maybe something I didn't even mention at all, just let me know down below, because I'm always happy to just sit down and chat with you. As always, see you guys in the next one. Bye.